which I would like to say thank you to the community for responding to my PSA from last week, asking you all to just behave and be nice to each other. And now I don't have to spend our news segment talking about murders and other terrible things, embezzling, and all the other stuff that seems to happen on a regular basis. We're just going to talk about some regulatory issues and a few odd stories that hit the news this week that had a dental twist. First off, there was a gentleman who was arrested this week. Well, actually, he was finally sentenced this week. He was actually arrested back in 2020 for smuggling money to Jamaica. He actually worked for TSA and had kind of figured out how to work the system, I would guess. And he was smuggling $42,000 in sealed toothpaste boxes. He was questioned coming through security and ultimately disclosed this. Now, the worst part about reading this story is I really wanted to know why he was smuggling so much money to Montego Bay, Jamaica, but that little gem was left out. So all we're left to chew on is the fact that he was finally sentenced for not disclosing his cash hold. And why are we talking about it on Dennis in the Know? Because he had it in sealed toothpaste boxes. In other news, the ADA, I'd like to say it's because the Dentist in the Know had a wonderful ADA episode just last week. Maybe, maybe not. But they are now accepting comment on medical loss ratio and dental loss ratio up until April 15th. There is a form on their website that you can complete where they will allow you to provide them any insight, details, or just your opinion on what you think about medical loss ratio and dental loss ratio. This is likely coming off the heels of their NCOIL and NADP agreement that they reached just a few weeks ago that did not get a lot of good press. So now they're open to receiving comments from members so that they can make sure they have all the information they need. This will go to Group for Dental Benefits, and also their Governmental Affairs Council will be reviewing all the comments and then doing whatever they do with their comments, probably moving it forward to the trustees and the board for review. Northern Alabama hit the news this week, and this is most appropriate for our guest this evening. If you'll remember, it's been a couple of months now since we talked about the Corporate Transparency Act. That was an act that went into effect in 2024. This act requires now all businesses to disclose to the IRS their ownership structure, particularly if they have any overseas entities or owners as part of the corporate structure. You now have to disclose that as a separate document to the IRS. This included all small businesses, including dental offices. So certainly we were talking about it. If you form a new business within 90 days in 2024, you will be required to complete the form. For those businesses that were in existence prior to 2024, you have until the end of the year to complete this requirement. Why is Alabama involved? Well, they just won an unconstitutional fight in their court system where it was ruled that this act was deemed unconstitutional by their court system. Now, this is only effective for the individual or plaintiff that filed the suit, but it might spark some continued interest and desire for other states and other entities to want to take this to the courts to fight it out to see if this act could be overturned. They cited 5 different amendments that this was in violation with the Constitution. And so we'll see where this inevitably goes for all small businesses in the U.S. And if this will continue to be a requirement, we'll keep you up to date on that. And the last little bit of news that we wanted to bring to you tonight, actually 2 other very interesting stories. The first was a woman was arrested while getting ready to be seen. She was sitting in the dental chair. She was arrested on premise for stealing someone's care credit identity. She was using their care credit to, quote, get her teeth did. And she had paid $1,000 to have access to this individual's credit line. She was arrested on site and taken in for questioning. What happened to her beyond that, we don't know. But she did not receive the dentistry that she had sat in the chair to have that day. I do wonder, though, was she already numb? Because that's like the first thing we do, right? The last story of the day, there's a study that may be coming out. It's getting its first presentation this weekend. It's a study that's looking at the benefits of CBD and periodontitis. to see if it has beneficial bacterial static effects against P. gingivalis, which we know is enemy number one when it comes to periodontitis. They are going to present their study this weekend, and I think it will have some opportunity for critique and review. But perhaps this may be another tool in the toolkit for fighting periodontitis in the future. And with that, that's the news.